I have with me the chair of UK-IBC, Richard Heald, who will talk about the trade ties between India and the United Kingdom and the much looked forward to FTA, anticipated, yes, which hasn't happened so far, but several rounds of negotiation have already happened, Richard. What is the progress like? Because there was a massive hurry at one point, and now we have seen the process become very slow.
Well, I think that we're moving towards a conclusion. At least I hope we're moving towards a conclusion. As I've said previously, I'm not at the table, thank goodness. But clearly we are giving our members and business views into the teams of both countries. And I think that progress has been made through the 8 rounds of negotiation that we've had so far. As in all negotiations, there are issues that are easy to resolve, and I'm sure there are issues that are more difficult to resolve. And I just get the impression that we're coming to a stage where those issues that are easy to resolve have been resolved and the chapters have been concluded. But we're now going to have to go, or the negotiating teams are going to have to go to political masters and ask for guidance on how to close the gaps in those chapters that are outstanding.
So last year we had heard Rishi Sunak say that he's going to look for the best deal. He will not rush through any trade deal. What does it indicate? What is it that the UK business community is looking at? And what are the specifics, if you can share anything that you've heard from the Indian side that they want factored into this trade deal?
I think how I would characterise what the Prime Minister has said is entirely logical, that as a UK Prime Minister, he is wanting to achieve the best deal that is available to be achieved. And likewise, as the Indian government will also want to achieve the best deal. So I don't particularly read anything into that as a hardening of position, if that's your question. I think it's just a statement of what the practicality is. What the British businesses want? I don't actually think there is any difference between what British businesses want and what Indian businesses want. I think we're wanting a clarity of what the operating environment is across various areas going forward. You know, what are the areas around investor protection, what are the clarity around tariff structures, etc., ease of doing business. These are critical points as far as the free trade agreement is concerned. I think it's important to characterise the free trade agreement as being a critical event in a journey. All right, it isn't a sacrosanct document that will last for all time. It will be iterated on as one goes forward.
But till such time as India and UK can strike a good FTA, how is the trade or the economic climate between the two sides doing? Have we seen any improvement in the recent past, considering negotiations are on and in some sectors there would have been more clarity than in the past?
Well, that's a very good point. I mean, business does business. And yes, as I said, the FTA is there. It's an important milestone in the journey. But business are getting on and doing business. There are opportunities that continually are being thrown up in the UK-India economic corridor. And both Indian companies and UK companies are exploiting those. And if you look at the FDI numbers of Indian businesses into the UK, it's very strong. If you look at UK activity in India, it's very strong. What are the new areas? I think that's where we want to focus. We've seen a tremendous amount of activity in development of battery technology in the UK. It's an area that is a legacy of Lord Bhattacharya. And a lot of Indian investment has gone into the West Midlands and continues to go into the West Midlands in order to access upstream research capability that then can be brought back into India to be used in the development and rollout of green mobility here in India. At the same time, sustainable energy, huge area. We both of our countries have strategic imperatives around energy security, and therefore areas such as wind, solar, green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, these are critical areas of development. And the final area that I would talk about would be aerospace and defence, where there is a lot of progress being made in relation to supporting the co-creation here in India of defence and technology between UK companies and Indian companies. So there are a lot of areas that are being developed alongside the FTA.
So Richard, while so much is at the table, there have been recent, incidents, some across the world, one particularly in the United Kingdom, of pro-Khalistani activists trying to pull down the Indian tricolour at the Indian High Commission in London. Do you think the friction that is created in bilateral ties because of incidents of this nature impact even negotiations, for instance, the FTA?
I would certainly hope not, and certainly the views and attitudes of businesses UK businesses has been making representations to the UK government as to how serious this is a matter, and I believe that the UK government is now taking these matters seriously. The fact of the matter is that we have laws in place in the UK which, if there is criminal damage, those can be prosecuted under criminal law, and equally if there are threats made against individuals of any nature that is deemed to be of criminal nature, then those also can be prosecuted, and therefore that should be taken forward. I think it's highly unfortunate. I mean, I have colleagues and friends in the Indian High Commission. I was in the Indian High Commission probably 10 days ago. There was a demonstration at that time, wasn't the demonstration you're talking about, but I think it's a very unfortunate and unpleasant environment for them to operate in, and we've got to take action on it.
Richard, that will be all, and we just do hope that the friction between the countries that we've seen recently, as you said, hopefully will not impact the negotiations on FTA. Many thanks for speaking with NDTV, Richard. This is Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.